Hey guys, this is Ben Golliver for SB Nation. We're here to recap Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Miami took it in overtime, 103-102. And frankly, this is one of those games you just can't break down fully in 3 or 4 minutes. It's just impossible. I mean, there's so many things going on, whether it's Chris Birdman Anderson going 7 for 7 off the bench, putting in 16 points, and keeping Miami going when they go to the bench unit, whether it's David West playing an excellent game, going off for 26 points, 5 rebounds, and really giving Miami trouble really throughout the game. But ultimately, so many things happened in the very final 6 or 7 minutes of this game, including overtime, that you almost have to start at the end and forget everything that happened before that. I mean, probably the place to start is Paul George's absolutely ridiculous 3 on a broken play right before the end of regulation to force overtime. Crazy handoff, things aren't quite working right, busted play, LeBron's kind of all over him, hanging off of him, and George just pulls up basically from 30 feet and just cans it to end up sending the game into overtime. If you didn't know who Paul George was now, shame on you. He's been a developing star, most improved player, all-star this year. He went off for 27 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. If you didn't know who he was before this week, now you definitely know who he was. It's clear he's ready to go against LeBron James head-to-head, one-on-one throughout this series. He's going to make LeBron work. He might not be the same player as LeBron, nobody is, but he's probably the best guy, the number 1 guy you want in the NBA, trying to guard LeBron James with a game on the line. That said, LeBron will make him pay, but we'll get to that in a second. Enter overtime. You've got a big back and forth here between the two of them, and there was really a key crucial play with Frank Vogel, Pacers coach, deciding to take Roy Hibbert, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, out of the game, and instead allowing basically a smaller lineup to try to match up with Chris Bosh. Vogel's reasoning, he said after the game to go to the small lineups, was that he didn't want Bosh to be open in the mid-range because Hibbert maybe couldn't get out to him. He wanted to have a smaller, more versatile lineup. And what he ended up doing was sacrificing his basket protection. Well, of course, LeBron James sees an empty paint, and he's just going right after it. He did twice in a row. First he comes down with a quick drive off the right, beating the perimeter, getting into the basket, finishing. He thought he got fouled. He asked for the foul, but he didn't get it. That gave the Heat a lead. Then, mano a mano, like I was saying, Paul George down on the other end. He takes the three-pointer. Now, did he get fouled? I didn't see it. Dwayne Wade definitely didn't see it. The Miami crowd didn't see it. Coach Eric Spoelstra didn't see it, but the referee saw it. So Paul George steps to the free throw line and just calmly sinks all 3 free throws to give the Pacers a 1-point lead with 2.2 seconds left. Unbelievable. Once again, Frank Vogel decides not to use Roy Hibbert in his lineup. He again goes to Sam Young, who's basically a power forward, to match up with Chris Bosh. And he just decides, hey, I'm going to play LeBron one-on-one with 2.2 seconds left. Well, the Heat draw up a nice play, get LeBron on the move. LeBron catches the inbounds pass going towards the basket, and unfortunately, Paul George was just a little bit too anxious, a little bit too much pep in his step, overplay just slightly. And really, if you give LeBron James an inch, he's going to take a mile. We've known that for years about LeBron, and with nobody back there to kind of cover for George's little slip-up, LeBron just went straight to the basket, finished a fairly easy left-handed layup with nobody guarding him as time expired. The help from Sam Young was just too late. It was really non-existent, frankly. You kind of want to see better effort probably on that play from him if you're the Pacers. And afterwards, Vogel really had no choice but to fall on his sword. He understands that he needed to keep his center, his backline defender in that game, make things a little bit more difficult for LeBron James, who, by the way, shoots 72% in the basket area for the season. It's pretty much the worst possible result of a defensive breakdown in that situation, is letting the MVP get right to the rim. And unfortunately, that's what happened for the Pacers, who are one of the NBA's best defensive teams. So LeBron capped off the night, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Like I said, a 103-102 victory in Game 1. And he seemed pretty nonchalant about it. He wasn't too fired up, and I think that really speaks to what the intensity of this series and what they're going to foresee this as being a pretty tough, grinding series. I don't think this is going to be a sweep. I picked the Heat in 6 before this series started, and I think you saw exactly why. One play here, one play there. The Indiana certainly could have had this game, and I think Miami is just going to try to keep itself level-headed as they head into Game 2. For the Pacers, you don't have huge adjustments to make because you were right there with them all along. You got to do a better job of accounting for Birdman on the offensive glass. He had 3 offensive rebounds. The second chance points for him are huge right around the basket area. You got to do a better job in terms of containing LeBron James off the dribble in key situations, but that's obviously easier said than done. Otherwise, you just keep playing your game and you're happy with how things went. All right, guys, that was a crazy, exciting Game 1. Be sure to check out SB Nation on YouTube and also sbnation.com/NBA.